The morning always came too fast for Aid. It slipped into his apartment quietly, through half-open curtains and unwashed windows, exposing everything he hadn't managed to fix the night before. He woke with a dull ache in his chest, the kind that had become familiar since his wife left. When he glanced at the clock, panic shot through him. He was late again. "Ada," he called, pushing himself out of bed. His voice sounded tired, older than his 40 years. His daughter sat on the edge of her bed, fully awake, school bag beside her. She wasn't wearing her uniform. Aid froze when he noticed. He already knew the answer before asking, but he asked anyway. "Why aren't you dressed?" Ada's shoulders slumped. "They are dirty." The words were simple, but they hit him like an accusation. He had forgotten the laundry again. Since Stella walked out a year ago, his life felt like a series of forgotten responsibilities. He was an excellent architect, trusted with designing buildings across Lagos, yet somehow incapable of keeping his own home together. "I'm sorry, my love," he said quietly. Ada nodded, but her eyes stayed down. She changed into a simple dress, and Aid tried to make breakfast with what little food was left. Burnt eggs, dry bread, silence at the table. When they drove to school, Ada didn't look at him when she got out of the car. She ran inside, head lowered, as if no one would notice her. Aid sat there long after she disappeared through the gate, shame pressing heavily on his chest. That was the morning his best friend, Femi, finally confronted him. Femi had noticed the mess, the exhaustion, the way Aid seemed to be slowly disappearing. He didn't insult him, he didn't raise his voice, he just told him the truth. "You can't do this alone," Femi said. "You're breaking, and Ada is paying for it." Aid wanted to argue, but he couldn't. The truth sat between them like an open wound. When Femi suggested hiring help, Aid resisted at first. A stranger in his home felt wrong. Letting someone else into the space Stella had abandoned felt dangerous. But when he remembered Ada's sad eyes, he finally agreed. The woman who came for the interview surprised him. Her name was Grace. She was quiet, neatly dressed, and carried herself with a calm dignity that didn't match her circumstances. Aid recognized her immediately. She was the woman he had once seen waiting outside Ada's school, the one who stayed with his daughter when traffic delayed him, the same woman he later noticed sleeping on cardboard behind a closed shop at night. Grace didn't beg for the job. She answered his questions honestly, spoke of past work, and admitted she had nowhere stable to stay. She asked for nothing more than fairness and peace. Aid hired her without hesitation. The change began almost immediately. Grace didn't just clean the apartment, she softened it. She cooked warm meals that filled the rooms with comforting smells. She organized without judgment. She created a routine. Most importantly, she gave Ada attention that was gentle, patient, and consistent. Within days, Ada began to smile again. Grace braided her hair each morning, packed her lunch neatly, and slipped small notes into her bag telling her she was brave, smart, and loved. Aid watched her daughter slowly return to herself, and without realizing it, he began to breathe easier too. One evening, Aid came home early. He stopped in the doorway when he saw Ada curled beside Grace on the couch, listening to a story. Her head rested comfortably against Grace's arm. The room glowed with soft light, and laughter hovered gently in the air. For the first time in over a year, Aid felt something close to peace. Then the past returned. The phone rang one quiet evening, and Stella's voice shattered the calm. She said she was back in Lagos. She said she wanted to see her daughter. The old panic surged through him instantly. Stella had left without warning, chasing a life she claimed she needed. For a year there had been nothing. No visits, no calls. Now she wanted back in. She arrived the next day looking flawless. Stylish clothes, confident posture, carefully rehearsed regret. She hugged Ada as if no time had passed, but something was different. Ada didn't cling to her. She didn't smile the way she used to. Instead, she drifted back towards Grace, instinctively seeking comfort. Stella noticed. Later, when Ada was out of the room, Stella confronted Aid. She said she wanted her family back. She said mistakes were made. She said the nanny had to go. Aid didn't answer right away. The dream of a complete family flickered briefly in his mind, but it didn't feel real anymore. What felt real was the quiet happiness his daughter had found. What felt real was the woman who stayed when things were hard. That night, Aid found Ada crying in her room. Is Grace leaving? The question broke something open inside him. He realized then that family wasn't about who came back late demanding forgiveness. It was about who stayed. No, he told her family. Grace isn't leaving. But when he went to find Grace, he discovered her packing. She assumed her role was over now that Ada's mother had returned. She spoke calmly, but her eyes betrayed her sadness. Aid stopped her. He told her the truth he had been holding back. He told her how much she meant to Ada, how much she meant to him. He admitted his feelings without planning the words. Grace cried not from fear, but from relief. She admitted she felt the same, but never believed she was allowed to. That moment was interrupted when Stella returned unexpectedly and saw them together. The confrontation that followed was ugly. Stella accused, she shouted, she tried one last time to use Ada to reclaim her place. Aid knelt beside her daughter and asked her a simple question. Who makes you feel safe? Ada didn't answer with words. She walked to Grace and took her hand. Stella left without another argument. In the weeks that followed, life slowly settled into something new. Grace was no longer just an employee. She became part of the family in ways that didn't need labels at first. Aid and Grace learned each other carefully, patiently. Ada flourished between them, her laughter filling the apartment that once felt empty. On Grace's birthday, Ada handed her a handmade card with a drawing of the three of them holding hands. Inside it read, "To the best mom I ever chose." Aid watched them embrace and felt the weight of the past finally lift. His family wasn't rebuilt from what was lost. It was built from what stayed. Love didn't return the way he expected. It arrived quietly, wearing patience and kindness, and fixed what pain had broken.